display of today's display, apart from the immense temperature that we're expecting.
Yes, indeed, and talking of that, we have, of course, a dedicated team from the Met Office here at the show, working in the flight centre, which is next to us in the days leading up to the event. There are always a great team from that organisation here. I was talking to Nicholas Cole earlier about the forecast. They're expecting the maximum temperature.
Torino Casella on April 6, 2002. As you control, and Space 8. From the right now, Major Alfredo Deschi, today at command of this team, the cannon gliding in inverted flight, about 30 seconds and down, when sea and sky will change place. The latest standard design having first been ordered by Germany Eurofighter Transport is alleged to be the most modern European combat aircraft.
There's the F-2008 Typhoon of the Italian Air Force rolling out. We're going to be getting the RAF Chinook into the air, going off to hold before its display slot That'll be the third item on the programme. It is, of course, quite a complex airfield layout here at Fairford, as always, during REAC, with aircraft parked in various areas of the airfield. You'll have noticed that not so many of the usual parking spots over on the northeastern loop are available to us owing to construction work. So more of the display aircraft than usual are parked at either end of RAF Fairford on the south side. So this does mean that we will be seeing aircraft appearing from numerous directions over the course of the display. Some of them will actually be taking off ever so slightly downwind. Low to mid-30s, I think, looking like for Monday now. And tomorrow we are expecting 30 to 32, according to the Met Office team in the flight centre, and I spoke to them a little earlier on. You see the Follow Me vehicle proceeding down the northern taxiway there. They, of course, are all part of the very complex taxiing plan that we were just talking about.
Yeah, and a huge amount of expertise. Big shout out to the engineers that work north side.
Oh, yes.
They have a very complicated taxi pattern and parking pattern to ensure that whatever the display director wants from the display is facilitated with aircraft in and out safely and on time.
And here's an example of the backtracking I was talking about. There's the
Clap a little bit to Captain Daniel Carmona.
was the last pass. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this as much as me. And we will see you tomorrow after again. And here they go, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you the 2022 Chinook display. The aircraft now brakes to the left to reset for its next manoeuvre, and offset wing over to the left. It's a challenging manoeuvre with the plane pilot spinning, who's stuck in the left-hand seat. Not only calling out taking pitch angle, roll, his height and speed, but also glancing out to the left-hand side, forcing him around. This year, the Chinook display captain is Flight Lieutenant Matt Smythe, known as Smitty. Smitty joined the Air Force in 2007 and has been on 27 squadrons for the past. Joining Smitty in the cockpit today is Flight Lieutenant Simon Flynn, one of our 3 display co-pilots for the season. Flynn joined the Royal Air Force in 2010 before converting to the Chinook and joining 27 Squadron in 2017. He's deployed to Mali, Falkland Islands in support of UK operations and has been on several 5 left for the pedal curve. As the aircraft passes this time, Smitty, who's in the right-hand seat, has a full gear everyone, so she's given a big wave. This display today demonstrates how surprisingly manoeuvrable this large helicopter is. Most of the manoeuvres are born out of real tactical skills employed in operations around the world. During these manoeuvres, the co-pilot guides are constantly darting around the cockpit. An easy task these days with a digital AFCS. Shortly they'll full round, climb the aircraft while flying left handle, taking the Chinook skywards, and doors pulled through, rapidly rotating and climbing to 800 feet.
Oh yeah, no, that's not it. This isn't.
And off they go, we're going to turn through 405 degrees. Again, another video in the house, we'll give you a big wave, comes back down. The doors pulled through, and the Chinook forcing time is bombing, and the crew can protect themselves in all directions while departing the landing sites at the bottom of the steep valley. He's on nose down now and back into his spiral descent. All 27 squadrons fully extremely proud to be bringing you the display this year. We do this alongside our operation on the front line deployment commitments and conducting our regular duties, training and tasking throughout the UK. Schmidt's going to point straight to the crowd now, roll out and then do a rapid brake to the left to give you the best sound of the Chinook and hopefully that famous parade slap as he rolls left. Now at this point we'd like to give a huge shout out to the runway while slowing and eventually coming to a stop. To add to this unique party trick, people then accelerate backwards and take off. There we go. Please give the crew a final wave of 30 flaps of the land laps as they say goodbye before departing backwards and then over the shoulder departure. Don't forget to enter our photo competition for the chance to win one of our official Chinook display team patches. Please send us your best shots in today's display, as we do love looking through them. The email address to enter, see our Chinook display team social media feeds, and good luck to those taking part. And now we must say goodbye. It's been an absolute pleasure to display to you today here at RIA. Our sincere thanks must go out to the event organisers, flight control committee. Just for her professionalism, but for her sense of humour and her kindness. Both will be very sorely missed. Colonel Alexander Oksanchenko and Captain Jen Casey. Well, the Red Arrows have been cleared for takeoff. As I say, they'll be heading over. Sunshine, he's been a Gripen pilot for 14 years, 6 seasons as a display pilot on time. The comparable two-seater. The U-model entered service with the Swedish Air Force in December 2021 and with the Brazilian Air Force, one of the Gripen's several export customers, this April. But Saab are also marketing a maritime version, it's a carrier-borne version of the E-model, something rather different for Saab, and the C's and B's are being offered. And that adversary role is something that's becoming increasingly important these days, isn't it? And we're seeing ever more modern jets, such as even F-16s in civilian hands, with top acers who represented aircraft at RIAT over the years. Major Henrik Björling with the Swedish Air Force Gripen. But now it's time for one of the centrepieces of the RIAT 2022 flying display programme. We saw evidence of it earlier as the Royal Air Force aerobatics team got airborne. Well, now we're hoping to see... with our Jubilee
pounds maximum takeoff weight. The readiness of C-27J is confirmed by mission availability rates in excess of 85% recorded in years of duration of deployment by several airports in 2006. And here she comes with a high performance takeoff, followed then by a Viper climb. She's engaging a S-shaped maneuver, that's why we usually throw it is in and out of Viper the generational replacement of the G222 with a significant performance improvement and a strong commonality of spare parts is the correspondence for engine elder system in one those jets. But what we are seeing though today, and hopefully clap our hands still at the end, it's not like the tip of the iceberg. It's a joint effort, a current work that will make us all proud to serve our country and our ideas for a free and peaceful world. The Princess has become a must here at the Royal International Institute since 2011, and now she's coming up in 21 to perform a wonderful daring turn. Performed, now the daring will be closed by a slope-up turn on our left. So it's a very warm day, but we saw a chilly wind to help us to hold everything down. Blue skies and plenty of sunshine, some patchy clouds, but very high sailing. Here made belly to the audience. Mission it with me. Well, it's scientifically impossible for a bumblebee to fly, wrote the Swiss scientist Antoine Magnan in a scientific publication in 1934. Similarly, in her own way, the C-27J challenged the law of aerodynamics It reminds us that our personal limits extend far beyond the lack of imagination our bodies are capable of. She boasts the largest load compartment of her class, and it extends up to 5 tons per square meter. The extreme versatility allows different payload configurations. The aircraft can also collect people in distress or wounded, thanks to her ability to configure the cargo carrier with several standard stretches for rapid medical evacuation. She can also be employed. For the lovers of statistics, land 74 feet to 6 inch, wingspan 94 feet to 2 inch, height 31 feet and 8 inch, and wind area of 880 square feet. Okay. Steep approach. And this is the way she touched the ground and ready for a backtrack maneuver. The aircraft is wearing the Icarus logo. That means the question 5 meant and makes each piece of news to fly. Out goes the flag. And this is the way we put to an end to the threat of the Italian C-27J Spartan. Thanks for your attention. See you later. To you all. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Thank you, Mike. A fantastic display as A330 twin-jet airliner, as indeed was the Voyager that we saw earlier. The two types of Beluga to operate simultaneously for a time of 30% greater capacity per aircraft. This is the Airbus A330 743L, otherwise known as the Beluga XL. So the Beluga XL is able to turn around in just an hour at each of its destinations, a reduction by almost half. It's operated by Airbus Transport International, which covers 11 destinations around Europe, including, of course, Harton Airport near Chester, for the Airbus plant at Broughton, which is a major contributor to the UK's part in the global aerospace industry, employing 6,000 people, which manufactures wings for almost all of Airbus's commercial designs. This is the first Beluga XL, aircraft which undertook the flight test effort and was the second to enter service. The engine's incidentally British, two Rolls-Royce Trent 700 turbofans, 71,000 pounds of thrust each. very quiet as well. And that completes the display from the Airbus Beluga XL. Of course, the aircraft very busy on transporting Airbus airframe sections, so only a short appearance, but nonetheless very, very welcome as another React first. And isn't that a real testament to the imagination, the contact, and the hard work of everybody here at the city, and in particular Peter Riot, the Air Operations Manager, who has worked tirelessly for the last few years, aiming to bring together a fantastic, diverse display that we're seeing acting out in front of us here. Yeah. My 24P, metro code name, fine. Now, as I said, we've seen Heinz plenty of times before in the Air Tattoo flying programme, mainly from the Czechs, but this one looks especially menacing, doesn't it, in this very dark colour scheme. Yeah, making out a few changes to the colour scheme of an aircraft had a really big effect on the overall impression of what it looks like. Thankfully not used on the German planes, but used by the Russians to very good effect in their war in the 1980s in Afghanistan. It's quite a different design with side-by-side seating for the cockpit crew, but from the Heinz P model onwards that was changed, replacing the big glazed cockpit to give it these two separate tandem cockpits with the gunner sitting in the front and the pilot in the raised position behind, and this is really the classic Heinz profile. All sorts of different variants. The My-24V, which was built from 1956, was the most numerous. Ethiopian military in their 1977 to 78 war with their roles are being expanded to include providing support to the civilian population, for example on flood or disaster relief missions if required. Hungary considerably bolstering its helicopter fleet. Apart from the Heinz, they're getting 20 Airbus H145Ms, deliveries of which started in late 2019, and they've also bought 16 Airbus H225Ms, the Caracal version of the Cougar or Super Puma.
motorisation agreement, C553, is still in opportunity. Integrated into those during its 50th anniversary year in 1999, and more of which has followed, have gone through. I think of the likes of the Techno Hub, different versus as well as that. From the Hungarian Air Force later on. Yes, and just a very quick note, we've seen the Royal Air Force Aerobatic team, the Red Arrows, displaying earlier today. Just a quick note to say that from midday until 12:45, that midday, just 10 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Frecce, Tricolori 2022.
Triangle. Now turning to the right and slowly taking the shape of a rhomb, the well-known diamond of Frecce Tricolori. At the edge of the diamond, the formation leader, pony number 1, Major Pierluigi Raspa in the very center of the diamond, pony number 6, the first slot, Major Franco Paolo Marocco, as attained the back of the diamond, our solo pony number 10.
up by the voice of the pony number 1 addressed to his green mantis. Rotation along the axis to form the twisted flight path through the indication provided by the lead about total energy in terms of speed and the display of our and is able to sustain upside down flight up to 25 seconds. Up the solo to our the maneuver of the front roll, narrated by the voice of turn roads are perfect. Circle with the white smoke, then will be an inversion. Then Oscar Bedon, pony number 5, Captain Alonso. He's been literally pushed out of the cockpit by force about 1,600 to all of you. After this amazing crossing, join for the two groups, let's look right in front of us and lower of the horizon. It's coming inward, movements and intense, and it's floating in the air and then down inside his own smoke. Ladies and gents, this is the pain life of the solo pilot of the Tricolor. The main formation is now the position. In front of us and outside probably the most renowned figure in his repertory, synthesis of skill handed down from pilot to pilot and technical features of the MD-339, ladies and gentlemen. Full throttle in every direction for our solo then climbing to our right, and straight in front of us beyond the time.
And at 2 o'clock, an element of looking to the future of aviation with climate change in mind. But Ryle, let's get back to the flying display with your expert commentators, Ben Donnell and Mark Manwaring.
I'm right on the fence line behind the Orion. Okay, well, I hope you're having a good show.
Just a reminder, we do have flying displays through until 6 o'clock this evening in what is, as we've been saying, one of the longest REACT flying programmes for many a year. Here come the Central for Glory, backtracking on runway 2 of their parking space.
They're not doing it for me.
And I believe they should have been followed by the Group F-16.
That's like a lighting range. And, you know, if we don't get to have a chat, I'll have to come up and see you. Either way, I will look forward to seeing you. You have a good... Oh, okay, well, yeah, either way, have a good show. Bye.
And such a different looking F-16 with the conformal fuel tank, this Block 52 Plus model. Yeah, that really is the evolution of the F-16 conformal tank.
Again, the F-16 is approaching your left, permanently demanding an impressive double inverted pass. Through the maneuver, it is imperative to maintain a steady -1 course to keep the aircraft at flat and level position, while interrupted by quick roll and continue. The double inverted pass. of a note. Zeus and the Victorios.
Some form of tank highly evident on the shoulders, just above the wings of the aircraft. Very different shape to the previous AB and CMB models. These will be rolling right to the far western end of the airfield in order to vacate and get the programme on as quickly as possible. And we're going to be getting the next one item in a very much a change of pace. And here is that next display item running in from the left, from the German Army, the NH Industries NH-19 Tactical Transport Helicopter. This one comes from Transport Hubschrauber Regiment or Transport Helicopter Regiment. There's this one, the T-8 helicopter, the NSM, and NATO frigate helicopter. Casualty or medical evacuation roles, combat circumstances, they can act as command posts or VIP transports. They can also be armed with a pair of door-mounted heavy machine guns to provide self-protection. They are hugely versatile platforms and performance range of endurance boosted by those large external fuel tanks, changing the endurance to 4 hours. We've seen those on an NH-90 of the German Army before, so I'm assuming they must be a fairly recent addition. From a military survivability perspective, the inherent redundancy of 4 channel fly-by-wire system greatly increases the survivability of the aircraft is engaged by small arms fire. All systems and subsystems are redundant and segregated, and armour plating is there for both the crew and the troops. It replaced the failed UH-1, the Huey, in the German Army. In 1914, they first deployed to evacuation mission right on the front line. In 2017, they've been used in Mali on stabilisation mission, and since 2020, late that year, they've been back in Afghanistan where they took over from some of the Luftwaffe, the German Air Force, before CH-53C, one of which we got the second part of. And they also support the civilian population. For example, just last November, German Army NH-90s like this were involved in flood relief efforts in the German states of North Rhine-Westphalia, and Rhineland-Palatinate. Now to the Royal Danish Air Force that we turn, and the team we're delighted to see and greeting the crowd as you come in through the gate. They're manning immersive technology stands in the RAF experience and showcasing the technology that the RAPEC use during their training syllabus, normally on a Monday and a Wednesday or a Tuesday and a Friday. Also during the day they are patrolling the cloud line and assisting in all enclosures and pavilions. It is a brilliant experience for anybody between the ages of 12 and 18. And a very, very stylish start to the sequence, going straight into an inverted pass. Now this is a multiple award-winning display on many previous occasions here at the Air Tattoo. It comes from the 152nd Fixed-Wing Squadron of the Slovenian RAF. Going up for a manoeuvre called the Humpty Bump. So into the vertical, a full roll, and there's the full crew. Up again, but this time for a leap to the roll at the apex.
With that, you look at the underside of the wing here, you can see the attachment point, the hard point which facilitates its aircraft to be weaponized. Tail flying this time. Now we've done a short burst control while going up, we're doing a quarter roll coming down and pushing into a negative G exit from this maneuver. So, what's going on here? It's very uncomfortable for me. We are bumping, hanging on the straps, the blood running strong is also very uncomfortable. This is really impressive. A maximum rate and a minimum radius, and probably one of the smallest radii that we'll see throughout Riyadh. Entry speed there about 280 knots. Speed coming back about 240 as the exits this max rate turn. Again. Pushing up, negative G again. And another half, U&8, with a roll again all the way up. And here he is. aircraft very successful in the export market, very impressive outside the energy loop. But again, with a bit of a flourish in the form of full roll on top. And this is very much the sort of manoeuvre that you might see performed by aerobatically much more capable aircraft, such as the Extra 300, like which we see with the Royal Jordanian Falcons and the Blade, unlimited aerobatic type aircraft, rather than the turboprop trainer. Minus 3.5 G, and then down to minus 1 G. And again, another half inverted Q&A with 1.5 rolls on the way. Slow roll uses all axis control. Constant throughout the aileron, which gets the roll going. But in the inverted position, the stick is pushed forward, preventing those from slicing down. And in the knife edge, you can see here, top right hand, the Army Air Corps soldiering on with them. This one comes from the Gazelle Squadron display team based over near Wantage. And it's in the markings of the VIP transport Gazelles used by number 32 Squadron.
Taking off in box formation with which they start this display. The 330LX model having replaced the earlier 300 in advance of the 2018 display season, and it has brought a whole new range to the repertoire of manoeuvres that the team. Coming up for the first quarter cloverleaf manoeuvre in the display in that tight box formation, and diving down back to regain the main A-axis display line. The A-axis, the one parallel with the main runway, the B-axis at 90 degrees onto that. Up into, staying in this very close formation, an enormous barrel roll. And out of that, up into a cubanate, pulling up as if to loop. So this is a cubanate with a difference, because the recovery is inverted and they're in for an inverted pass. Pushing up to 45 degrees, they'll then be pulling back on the stick to return onto the main display line, and we'll see the formation change shortly from this box formation they start in to tango formation. There goes the change. The four aircraft now in a T shape, and they perform the line abreast loop. But just as rapidly, they'll reconfigure into box. Up again, twisting the recovery slightly, so as to head away from us on the 45-degree angle. Leading the team for 2022 is their Director of Operations, Jamil Zayad. He's been with the team for 20 years now. He has some 3,475 flying hours during his career. He has flown as a fighter pilot in the Royal Jordanian Air Force on both the F5 and the Mirage F1. And now once again more uncomfortable negative G work and inverted turn. Again, the team making very good use of different axes, rolling out because they're going to perform another of those quarter clover leads. This they're using to come back in on the B-axis. They stay in box formation for the time being, but that's about to change as they go up. We see them splitting and putting smoke on, and this is the Hashemite Kingdom's salute to you for Falcon's Heart. And now we see the solo aircraft breaking away. Time for the first of the solo slots in the display. We don't see, in fact, a launcher back to begin with, but then continuing with a torque roll, you'll see the aircraft going vertical. Really showing us his power to weight ratio here with this 330 horsepower Lycoming engine. And there's the torque roll. The torque effect taking in the aircraft rolls backwards vertically down through its own smoke. Rolling and rolling off into the distance. Approaching the three-ship formation, who are now in line abreast formation. They're pulling up for a loop in line abreast. That's very close formation to be doing synchronised stall turns in, but the speed's leading off. Rudder being applied, and round they go in unison. Absolutely beautiful, yes. Now the leader and the right wingman will be going into mirror formation. The left wingman will be flying barrel rolls around them. The left wingman is retired Colonel Sharif Hatouk, a man with more than 5,500 hours of flying experience. He's the one doing the barrel rolls around the other two aircraft. He's the chief pilot of the team. He joined the Royal Jordanian Air Force in 1980. They're performing a hammerhead, and that is transitioning immediately into a multiple turn knife edge spin. Flying the solo slot this year is retired Brigadier Doraid Al-Lawama. He first joined the Falcon back. All three exiting away from us, leaving the stage clear for the solo to come back in. All the while the other three aircraft perform stall turns, but there is Doraid Al-Lawama back in this time. But they're rolling erect once more and diving in, ready to perform the Hashemite break. Towards each other and separating, the leader going up, the wingmen also going up for tumbles in the vertical. Keep your eyes on either one of the wingmen this time, because they'll be coming back in from both left and right for a knife edge crossover. Each of them will then be climbing up in the 45-degree angle, performing 1.5 rolls. 3. This time, blending that launcher back into a 2-turn flat spin. Throwing in a roll before pulling up again. This time into, with a roll on the way up, an uncomfortable pushover. Straight up for tumbles on the 45-degree angle. And with power out of that into another hammerhead. Great to have the team back in Europe this year for the first time since 2019. Supported as ever by the Royal Jordanian Air Force with their C-130 Hercules fleet. Do go and visit the Jordanian C-138 in the Shattuck Park. Now here comes a crossing with the three ship in line abreast. Briefly onto the knife edge. Up goes the three ship, still in line abreast for a loop. The Solo performing another tumble, but watch the rejoin. Royal Jordanian Falcons. The 330 LX version they've been flying since 2018 really has had an extra pizzazz to what was already a very, very well flown routine, and this is another excellent manoeuvre, a 4-ship box formation slow roll. For many years, the late King Hussein was a patron of the International Air Tattoo Organisation. He regularly flew into Fairford himself, often in his personal lucky TriStar of the Jordanian Royal Flight. It's been the show's great pleasure to welcome many members of the Jordanian royal family ever since. Typhoons are ready for launch. In this case, with the unidentified aircraft being a relatively slow mover, it's possible for them to get in contact with it very quickly. And here we see the two Typhoons closing on that aircraft, which is being depicted by the C-130 Hercules. That any aircraft crossing a flight information region boundary, an FIR boundary, must carry in-flight intercept procedures with them, just in case they are intercepted, such as we see here. Within those procedures, there are a number of things which show what will happen if you are intercepted. In this instance, the fighter pulls up alongside the cockpit of the C-130 and will waggle the wings to say, "Follow me." A slow turn will mean that you are to turn in this direction. And the Iris-T short-range air-to-air missile. And these are now the only types in service with the Austrian Air Force surveillance wing, because the Saab 105 was retired by the Austrians in late 2020. And that type previously shouldered some of the air defence burden alongside the Typhoons against, as we were talking about there, slow-moving targets. The result demonstration can only really be described as the long course storm. Movement of close formation, followed by outbound on the V-axis, a split into a fantastic roll demo of air-to-air combat. Position, and this of course is exactly the sort of things would go on in such a training come around the corner. The second aircraft on the right-hand side is slowing to 150 knots for a min-radius turn.
It presents a very dynamic show for you today, and it's my duty to keep you fully informed of the display content. This show will take about 30 minutes and present you 8 gentlemen. Please give us a round of applause to pilots and mechanics who are doing their best to prepare for the show. Please turn your attention to the right. 8 players are lining up for the show, and they will have a final kickoff. You are seeing now is the Albatross solution. Flight the wheel of Lookout, bringing on 3 credits wings as it flies by. Team is a world-class team that requires extremely well-trained skills and useful instruction. das Decoration of the Heart with the typical. These lovely gifts for all of you. Enjoy pleasures this month.
Seen them in the media when they performed the presidential transport support role with the US Marine Corps.
And travelled extensively throughout the country. For the first 6 months we were there, we flew extensively in the Black Hawk and Chinook, and was probably airborne for about 3 hours each day that we were travelling. As soon as the CVT-2 came along, those times were cut by half. Entered service with the US Air Force with the first special operations wing at Melbourne, Beale, Florida, in early 2007. It was switched over to special operations with Carolina Air Force Base in Mexico as the chieftain, followed by the 352nd at Milton Hall in 2013, and then the 363rd at Lakota in Japan in 2018. Huge amount of lift from those very, very small rotors, mainly gained because of the high RPM that we see there. 11 metres on the rotor diameter there.
Overseas visits, and the US Navy is buying 44 of them as carrier onboard delivery platforms to replace the old Grumman C2 Greyhound in resupplying the Navy's ships. And see, I always thought this sort of spiking on top of the at Milton Hall and the CP-22 in Osprey of the US Air Force with Christmas Orient flight this afternoon. In a few moments, we'll be greeted by the Symphony of Berlin, not only the most iconic airline ever built, but also the most instantly recognizable. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to look around here, Here they come back after Corrigan Spitfire of the 2022 Royal Airport National Race Memorial Flight. The aircraft will position in a 270 turn, and as the 270 to the left will then present themselves along the ground centre line before splitting off a 30-degree left-hand turn. Today, the flight is 6 Spitfires, 2 Hurricanes, a Dakota, Lancaster, and 2 Chipmunk aircraft for training purposes. As you can hear now, the sound of those birds is slightly to increase. I'm sure the hairs on the back of the neck will be starting to go off. And this will signal the break of the formation and will again signal the start of the individual display. See there's the big line moving.
So they do so.
Again, if you look around left, you'll see P8474 in a landing configuration to be demonstrating its ability to match the work. Any other place to climb, then turn away from the ground. And again, turn your eyes to the left as we see the Spitfire and Hurricane doing one final flyby. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Royal Airport Battle Bridge Memorial Flight 2022. And the way the RAF was looking for a Jet Roberts replacement in the 1980s. The next line airport. At the usual end of takeoff today, the right hand, the east end of the airfield. You've been cleared to line up by the tower.
Turning on the PC-21. The Mustangs will now split up to carry out a flying On the right,
Dave will now simulate a gun run before joining up with his leader, and then they move on to the air-to-ground phase. Dave and eBay will now make one final pass.
They just moved in front of you at the speed of 350 knots, and they'll be coming back for another passage. And the first students actually started the training in June 2019. The US Bank X-ray leader is Captain Nicola, nicknamed eBay. He is logged 3 down, 3 as he goes wrong. All that information later on.
There you have it. That was these were the Mustang X-Ray. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't hesitate to stop by our stand in the PC21 static display. We'll be glad to meet you and answer any questions. Thank you for your attention. We would also like to thank the organizers for their work. Enjoy the rest of the air show, and we hope to see you soon. Well, thank you.
Trains all British F-35 pilots, both Air Force and Navy, before sending them off to the front line. And this now includes day and night carrier qualifications. It's an entirely joint squadron with about 50% Royal Navy and RAF personnel. This in the lead up to the intended formation next year of 809 Naval Air Squadron as the first Royal Navy Lightning unit. Vertical landing capability coming into its own. Stephen de Vries, as Mark said, full sign Vriska, and he is a really notable aviator because he became the first non-American pilot to clock up 5,000 flying hours on the F-16. Especially coloured aircraft. It's a three-spiral. Positioning temporarily on the A-axis, preparing the aircraft for takeoff. This, I know, was one of the things that was most impressive about it, was the fact that it could fly under complete control so slowly, thanks, of course, to the fly-by-wire system, a relatively new innovation in those days. Huge angle of attack there. That has got to be about 25 to 30 degrees. Service are Bulgaria and Slovakia, both with that version. A really good indication there of the length of the runway here, the high-speed path. We had to count to 3 weeks to maintain below Mach 0.9. Quite often on the smaller shows, the aircraft will have really selected the entire flight line duration.
We refer to it as foreign object damage, and we have provided an enormous number of bins around the site for you, and we will sort your rubbish out for you. So please put it all in the bins before you go. We will sort it out, nothing will go to landfill, and we will recycle as much as possible. Thank you so much. Back to bed.
Cheers, George. Yes, that's a really important.
Let's go. aileron roll. Before lighting the rig and accelerating into its maximum rate turn. This maximum rate turn will sustain 90. The force is still going to cause it to lift it off in the demonstrating the incredible turn and rate of the Typhoon. The relative turn quick and maintain energy is all right to get in position to release an air-to-air missile. Conduct one final half gear in, bringing it down for a further fast pass at 600 miles an hour. We're into 6 degrees mail on roll before pitching turn out. Maximum ceiling height 55,000 feet. If we were to fly higher than that, which it is surely capable of, we would need to wear a spacesuit. Pass out. 40 degrees nose up, 30 degrees nose down towards the ground. Today landing from a half cubic at the end of the runway, select idle power at 450 miles an hour, straight just before the next display item. Gary Taylor, could you please go to the Blue Zone service station between flags 5 and 6. That's Gary Taylor, please go to the Blue Zone service station between flags 5 and 6. And also, a quick reminder that the pilots from the Black Eagle team are now doing signings in the pilot set. Work. Now this is the bit of the display that, shall we say, is rather interesting. The rescuers are now picked up, but not winked. They are really you can see the impact here. Helicopter going into a short spiral, and according to our notes, it will fly up to about 800 feet. For a spiral descent. Now when I'm looking through my long lens to try and see is whether they have an extra special guest with them. Because I know that the Riyadh Air Traffic Control Services mascot, Billy the Badger, is on board the Sokol, and there was some talk of him being lowered down on the road. I think he may be a bit more sensible of that, because that may well be sat in the cockpit next to the pilot. The two rescue men who are definitely there are Warrant Officers Miroslav Drabek and Jan Duda. Flying is First Lieutenant Mikhail Schertz, and the flight engineer is Warrant Officer Yaroslav Dudchek. They all come from 200 check out please act without the power. The estimated 10,000 lives have been saved by the Czech Sokols and the SAR and Chemical Controls, including operations after the severe floods that have afflicted the Czech Republic on several occasions. The head was configured aircraft with a doctor and nurse accompanying the pre-flight crew, and they are on, use the phrase again, we have on other occasions to do with QRA, 24/7, 365 days a year, standby, 4-minute readiness by day, 10 minutes by night. Now the aircraft positioning once again for a number of demonstrations on the agility of the aircraft, plus some slow speed manoeuvring. And again, another roll demonstration. This is a perfect example of how this helicopter is absolutely perfectly designed for the head roll, in particular for landing in small confined spaces, may well be on roads after an RTA, conducting the rescue mission. The transport model can carry 12 passengers or 2,200 cargo. And it can also take an underslung battery bucket firefighting duties.
Look to your left, you'll see the Irish aerobatic display team, the Silver Swallows. The Silver Swallows was founded in 1987. And we're very pleased to be joined at the commentary position by the other Hungarian Gripen display pilot for the 2022 season, Lieutenant Marta Majovic. Marta, welcome to Riyadh. Very good to have you with us.
everybody, and thank you. I'm very happy to join you at this amazing airport. And here we can see David performing the first maneuver, which is a fluttering. Flown with the Green Plans in 7 years, and we got over 800 hours on this flight. And
I'm sure it will be for many of the here.
invite it up we'll give you a spectacular as a Griffin pilot yourself, what's it like to fly? Because of the fly-by-wire system and the high capable aircraft, you can move plus 9 minus 3 Gs, and if you can get it right away, 1 seconds, you can go up to 9 Here, hopefully you can see the nice flames behind the jet. There we go. Yes, we used to see the Australian F-111s do this years ago, but not so many Griffins. Yeah, not so many dedicated. What about the operational roles then in the Griffin? Proceeding for
multifunction display, which is moved away towards a brilliant area. So from your left, she comes flying at high speed to draw a narrow rectangle, embellished and beribboned. sensor loop. They will be starting at 320 knots. At the very top, the aircraft will reach its lowest point, bringing the aircraft on the brink of stall. Case in point, Major Emiliano Battistelli, who will verticalize again downward this time. He will be performing 2 high alpha in a row, large values of angle attack. For logistic and economic reasons. As a consequence, modern and expensive multi-role fighters are employed independent, very lane roles, quickly wearing off their fatigue life. So a special version of the Master called FA-5S. From food to cars, clothes, and of course aircraft, Italian products are often associated with quality, high specialization, and elegance. The Made in Italy label recalls famous Italian brands, often connected with concept of luxury and design. The Trainer 346, the United States. Frontal Eagleman, aside from their unmistakable piloting skills, Major Emiliano Battistelli stands out for his
Today only 8 aircraft. Our Turbo 4 Captain Maurice Matleb is missing. He's just now becoming father of his first child, so the FAP will catch up and they will come back It is quite difficult to fly a formation like this because the speed range of the PC-7 and the F-18 is completely different. The F-18 is at rather slow speed and the PC-7 have to fly not too fast, otherwise the planes on the outside won't be able to stay in that formation. Are on and flaps extended, and the F-18 will approach from the right side for the crossing. So after around 9 minutes, he already has to land again because he will be out of fuel. And we will come to the next and last highlight today. The PC-17 from the front, as I said, with a slightly adapted program with 8 aircraft. Because number 4 is missing. He's becoming now the first time father. Yes, the PC-17 will open this presentation in the you very much, ladies and gentlemen. 70 meters total span of the formation. That's the wingspan of a jumbo jet or a 380. 380. Now I would like to introduce you to the commander of the PC-17, Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Stampi, nicknamed Stampa. He's an experienced Swiss Air Force pilot and has also flown the F-18 fighter jet and was also commander of Staffel 11, one of the fighter squadrons in Switzerland. Today, Stampa is in the commandership of the Swiss Air Force Pilot School and head pilot of the PC-21 training aircraft. Stampa is standing here on the ground with us and is always in radio contact with all pilots. If necessary, he can give inputs directly so you can enjoy a safe and elegant show. Next formation change is a beautiful formation called Concorde, famous aircraft in the UK. And after a right turn, they will come back to the formation called Diamant. All the pilots of the PC-17, as I said before, are professional military pilots in the Swiss Air Force flying the F-18 fighter jets. So during the weekends, they form one of the biggest aerobatic display teams with turboprop aircraft in the world and show you an absolute professional presentation. This, ladies and gentlemen, is unique and shows the efficiency and effectiveness of the Swiss Air Force. Next formation change into Diamant just now, and now take a close look to the last aircraft during the flyby. Soloist has split from the main formation and prepares himself for his solo presentation later on. To warm up, we present you a so-called Cuban age, a line age, and he's kind of the clown in our team. The main formation is preparing for the next presentation. Our first soloist is showing you the abilities of the PC-7 training aircraft. You may also share your videos and photos with us on Instagram at PC17 or TikTok at PC17. We are also on Facebook. And now our first soloist is coming back with a special role, the dirty role as we call it, landing gear extended, flaps extended, and the landing lights are on. Difficult to fly within the limits of maximum and minimum speed and maximum and minimum kilo. Now have a close look to the front. The rest of the team has now playing the formation Matro. Of the show. Straight ahead, we await our two soloists, number 7 and number 8, just trailing a few meters behind. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you see it right, it's the heart of the PC-17, just for you here in Fairport. Thank you very much, and not enough with that almost arrow. Quote by number 6. There is no anti-G suit in the PC-7, so they have to cope with the G-load by themselves and use personal fitness for keeping the blood up in the head. So yeah, they have to be really fit, and I can assure you that ladies now, they are starting.
with a waterfall. I also would like to introduce these pilots to you. Facebook at PC17 or on Instagram at PC7_team or follow us on TikTok at PC17. Now from the right side, our soloist Captain Benjamin Matte, nicknamed Tom. First salt looping. A roll, now he's pulling up for the second half looping. Speed is now decreasing. This is what happens when an aircraft is reaching its minimum flight speed. The PC-7 gets into a spin, but don't worry, this is a standard maneuver every military pilot has trained during basic training. Well done by Duffy, thank you very much. Thank you very much for trying. And showing you the maneuverability of the PC-7 train. 60 degrees curve again here, an acceleration of around 45 Gs is acting on the body of Duffy, which means he weighs around 5 to 4 times more during this curve. Now, so-called Rovensmo, almost no speed at the top. Will come back and show us around. And now he will come back again for his own farewell called the Tango. Ladies and gentlemen, give him on the next flyby a hand wave with your hands or with your heads. Thanks a lot to Duffy. The rest of the team. Now we already have the Matterhorn split before, most famous mountain in Switzerland, and the next formation is called Toblerone. It's a
level pass over left tank runway is one really not the Mike Colombo from the incoming airport back with us.
Is he? No, he's not. No, the first one, he's gone past it already. Nope, because the Jordanian Falcons turned off there earlier. Yeah, no, that's good. But I love how it's like first exit right. That's the only exit right. That's the only one now. Technically, it's the last exit, but anyway. Yeah, it's not the first, but it is the last. He meant next, I suppose. Next, right.
When you reach after I've told you.
Yeah. They sometimes have these on static, but what I like about them is their kind of camo-y paint scheme. It looks cool. They have got an identical one up there, a finished one. Well, it's not identical because it doesn't have the camo on it, but it's sort of the exact same version and the same colour, just not with a camo pattern.
So what will that be here?
There's a longer video on DVD, of course.
Yeah, that's a
you are
Falcon
now
EX,
able to buy it live
Which
online. Now, of course, the live streaming has been completed, but by going online, you can see it all over again if you wish.
Maybe.
And of course, that's
Maybe.
part of the
Yeah, I know,
enjoyment
innit?
of the whole
No, I can go more as well.
So many things have happened during
Yeah,
the course
this
of
is the
weekend.
optical zoom,
We've
yeah.
calculated that there were 20 hours and 40 minutes.
Digital zoom
of
gives you more
actual
zoom, but
displays
it's like
flying
grainy.
by 19 nations and over 89
Yeah.
aircraft, making 214 individual
But what
aircraft
I find is, like I said, like
it's not just an awful lot of flying.
when you zoom in a lot, it gets very tetchy, so you've got to be really careful.
TV crew who put that together. But go online now, you can sign up.
Oh, it's Hungarian.
Not only watch that, but there's
Isn't
a
it?
fantastic
Or Italian? No, it's Hungarian.
catalogue of so many other previous years.
That's a rare
and lots
bird
of
as well.
other display events that they cover as well. So we commend that to you. Watch at watch.plainstv.com. Watch.plainstv.com. Sign up, and then you can watch it all over again.
Okay, they polished it well, didn't they? Shiny.
Yeah, I think a lot of aircraft sign of look clean because they do get cleaned regularly anyway, I guess. But when you're flying through the air, they get
The shit up.
yeah.
I suppose you go through like moisture, isn't it?
Oh,
And then
what
the
about
speed you're going up.
Yeah. I suppose flying through the clouds would give it a wash. What's that I can hear? Over to the right.
I think it's just that one that landed a minute ago.
Oh, okay.
Got PC7s down the bottom and one that looks like a pig further. Is that where it's being biplane?
Two sets of wings, yeah.
It's gonna be-
2 wings is like
2 wings is,
normal
a normal
monoplane.
plane. If it hasn't got 2 wings, you've got a bit of a problem.
He's off already, look, he's up already.
Bin men are going, look.
And
Bin
then-
men are taking the bins already as well.
Oh wait, I haven't dumped all my crap there yet. The trick is to try and like obviously track this and then zoom out a little bit at the same time to keep it in shot. But like I said, I'm still quite new to this, so it's not going to look great, but
Golf is now Highworth and changing en route. Many thanks for your help. I'll share any thanks for cross security and frequency change approved. Good day. Speak to you soon. The Golf report leaving restricted airspace. Golf, okay, roger that, Howard.